Hi, I'm Mr. New Jersey. Today we're going to talk about one of the strangest aspects of New Jersey government, our elected fire boards. In most New Jersey municipalities, fire departments operate the same way they operate throughout most of the rest of the country, which is that they're run as a regular department of municipal government, whose leaders are appointed or hired by municipal government officials, and whose budgets are incorporated with the municipal budget. But a substantial number of municipalities in New Jersey have something else instead, which is that the fire departments are run through a board of elected fire commissioners. Some municipalities have only one fire district and thus one fire board, while other municipalities have multiple geographically distinct fire districts and hence multiple fire boards. Typically, the number of commissioners is fairly low, at about 5 or so. The commissions function sort of like school boards. They deal with things like personnel conduct, buying necessary equipment, setting fire department policy, and setting the annual budget. Along with an elected fire board's budgeting power comes taxing power, because they need to be able to pay for the budget. Specifically, fire board taxes are part of your property tax bill. However, the fire board has to submit its annual budget to voters on the annual fire election day, and so voters can either accept or reject the budget, and hence, if applicable, accept or reject the tax increase. Note that if voters reject the budget proposed by the fire commissioners, the issue of deciding the fire department's budget then gets bumped to the municipal government, which is allowed to approve the budget that the fire board wanted, or to cut spending from the proposed budget. The one thing the municipal governments are not allowed to do is increase spending beyond what the fire board proposed. So all of this is to say that the fire elections do have an impact on your life. They affect how well your fire department operates, and via the fire board's budgeting and taxing powers, these elections affect your property tax bill. Also, sometimes the fire elections will include a fire department-related ballot question, so keep on the lookout for those as well. So I would recommend, first of all, that you find out whether or not your town has an elected fire board, and if so, that you go out and vote. Now you may think, I don't really know much about fire elections or fire boards. Who am I to decide how to vote in the fire election? But even if you're in that camp, your town might have resources available to you to help you make your decisions. For example, about 2 weeks before each election, my town will put paragraph-long biographies about each candidate on the township website. So more or less what I do in advance of the elections is I read those biographies, find the names with the most fire, emergency services, and possibly business-related experience, and vote for them. Another thing that happens in my town to try to help citizens with these elections is that my fire department sends out mailers in advance of each one, explaining what's in the budget in general terms, and if there's a tax increase involved in that year's budget, trying to explain why the fire board believes it's worthwhile. If you don't want to rely solely on the mailers, you should be able to get access to a copy of the budget itself, so check out your fire department's website for information about how to go about doing that, or contact someone at the fire board. One of the strangest aspects of New Jersey's fire boards is that the fire elections are held on a Saturday in February instead of the Tuesday in November general election day, or even the June primary election day. One of the most common criticisms of New Jersey's elected fire boards is that because the fire elections are held by themselves in February, they have incredibly low turnout. It's already difficult to get people to come out to vote for offices like governor, senator, president. Gubernatorial elections, for example, often have turnout in the 30 to 40% range. But fire board elections have been known to have turnouts of less than 2% of registered voters. This may be because people don't care about the fire board elections, don't think it's significant enough to come out, or it might be because they don't even know that their town has an elected fire board. I often talk to people from my hometown, which has an elected fire board, and find out that they've never heard of it before. There have been some attempts in the legislature to increase turnout for fire elections and awareness of fire elections by moving them to the November general election day, but thus far these attempts have not been successful. Such a move would not be unprecedented, however, because most school board elections used to be in April, until the legislature opened up the possibility for them to move to November, and most of them have since moved to November. All that said, as of when I am making this video, the next fire election is coming up pretty soon. It's on February 17th, 2018. If you're signed up for vote by mail, you can vote that way, or you can show up in person on election day, but just be aware that fire election hours are shorter than hours for most other elections. I believe they only last from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. And also be aware that polling places may be different, because towns often have fewer polling places open. So I would recommend checking your municipality's website to see what your polling location is for the fire election. Before I sign off, I want you to know that since fire boards are an organ of government, like most organs of government, you have a right to attend most of their meetings. And if you don't want to attend in person, they generally post the minutes of their meetings, the meeting agendas, and any ordinances passed online. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please like and subscribe. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.